Hey all, we're going into midterms and I wanted to talk to you about property law today just to see if I remember it. And this is what I took from the first, I think we're in week 5. So I don't know if we're quite into midterms, but they're starting to give us a lot of tests. And I'm going to have to say this on the test. First, we talk about adverse possession. And that's a fun one because everybody gets excited. Woo, you mean I could just go use my neighbor's house for 7 years? And it will be mine, all mine? And I'm like, well, first your neighbor has to not be there. And because you need exclusive use. And if they are around, they just might decide to call the police on you and have you kicked out for trespass. So trespass is the taking or harming of another's property without their consent. And it could be to chattel, which is the fancy word for personal property, things, or land. And real estate is land and the buildings attached thereto. So it doesn't matter, well, I think the building and any personal property that's attached thereto. So like it gets kind of tricky when you start talking about like a washer, not a washer dryer, but a oven. So sometimes that gets to be an issue in a real estate transaction. But basically just, if you were taking a test on this, you would say the land and the buildings attached thereto. And so we got trespass. So here's my neighbors. They kind of have like a little encampment going. And, they're nice enough people. I don't care. But I don't know if they own the property. Let's say that they don't. And they're just sitting there in their little campers and their tents and their whatever, and they're kind of just hanging out. And, well, we're in Arkansas, and Arkansas's got some of the strictest, least user-friendly laws of adverse possession of any state. But let's just say that we're in a state where the statute of limitations, which is the amount of time that someone has to assert their rights in a legal context, like in court, by filing some kind of a complaint. Well, if they just stayed there for the statute of limitations period, they are using that land, assuming that they don't have permission. So it would be a trespass. It would be, they use the acronym poacher. So you have possession. That's one. They have possession. It's got to be open and notorious. So that means everybody knows about it. I drive by them twice a day at least. now I'm starting to walk again. You're going to hear me get like breathless because I haven't walked since school started. I mean, I walk a lot at school and I'm carrying my books, but this is a little bit different. So if I have a heart attack, hey, it was nice knowing y'all. But anyways, so it's possession that's open and notorious. A stands for actual. So you have to use the property in a way that the true owner would use the property. So, like I used to go before they moved in, there was some wild berries and, oh, I'm thinking I might be seeing some now, but I'm not. It's not even the season. So around springtime, there would be wild berries and I'd go pick them. But maybe you could say that was actual usage, because I was like cultivating. I don't know, that would be a real stretch. But in all likelihood, it would not be actual usage because I didn't actually do anything. Like I didn't go plant berries and then water them and pick them. And I certainly didn't build a house there or like those people, like, you know, build a little shack and start living in it. So, okay, that's A. C, continuous. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to move in and order Uber Eats every day because you're not allowed to leave. You have to get doctors to come and visit you on a house call, so good luck. And most of you probably don't even know about that. That's what doctors used to do. They used to make house calls. I think that was even before my time, but we knew about it. Okay, I just dropped my water. There goes half the water. Oh. All right. So I'll digress for one moment. After 60, if you get down on the ground, you better have a plan on how you're going to get up. So back to continuous. You don't have to sit there all day, every day, for the entire length of the statute of limitations, because you only have to act like a true owner. So if you're adversely possessing, don't say squatting. I got in trouble for that with my professor, Dean Crawford. He's a really fun, nice guy. I like him. I don't know if that's disrespectful to call him a guy. The dean says, don't use squatter. If you're adversely possessing or you're trespassing on someone's land for and you're living in their house, you can go to work and come home every day. You could even go away for a 2-week vacation. You just can't leave for 11 months and then come back and think that you're going to keep counting your time as continuous. And the one thing about all of this is that adverse possession has a lot of subjectivity to it, and it's based on the specific events. Oh, now I'm seeing spider webs. Gotta watch where I'm going. So it depends on the specific details and facts that you have in your case. So one judge might say, yeah, it's 11 months away, that's kind of normal. I don't know what world he lives in. But, so that's continuous. P-O-A-C-H, hostile. Hostile doesn't mean you don't have to fight them off with a stick. You don't need Ruby Ridge guns blaring. Hostile just means that they did not invite you. So it could be a neighbor you're good buddies with, and you're using their property unknowingly, because this can happen if you just unwittingly are taking over their property. You know, there's been a fence there since both of you moved in. You just assume that fence is the property line. So, hey, doing a YouTube video about adverse possession because I'm in my first year of law school. So, nice neighbor. So, it's like if I used my neighbor's property to plant a garden, and we both thought that that was my land. Well, the neighbor's going to build a barn. She gets a surveyor out there. The surveyor finds out that all these years, the full length of the statute of limitations, which is SOL, shit out of luck, after that time, I could possibly be adversely possessing that land for my garden. Well, so now, POA continuous, H hostile. I'll tell you what's not hostile is if the neighbor says, you know, I never used that land, and you're such a good gardener. If you grow berries on it, I'll let you use the land as long as you give me a bucket of berries every year. Or let me pick, well, I don't know if you could say let me pick my share. Yeah, you could, because now you're giving them permission. So you want to give them permission to thwart a later action for adverse possession. So now you have hostile. E is exclusive. That means the neighbor and I can't share a garden. Where she says, gosh, you're such a good gardener. Why don't you come over every day and we'll garden this little plot of my land, but you will have free reign to come and go as you want. But she gets full reign also. So she goes and she picks some of those berries. She even starts to learn a little bit, and she has like a little vegetable plot in the middle. And then I go to grab her land by adverse possession. And the judge should say, no, you did not have exclusive use. So the R is, I think it should have been poaches, and the S would have been statute of limitations. The Professor Crawford and I guess the people like him, they say it's, I think the right amount of time or I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's the same meaning as for the length of the statute of limitations. So that's R or S. And some professors, I think even one that Dean Crawford told us to watch, who I had watched just, serendipitously, they say ocean. So it's open and notorious, continuous, exclusive, actual, and notorious. So I don't know. Let's see if that covers. They don't use the P, possession. I don't know. I think I like poachers better. Or poaches better. So that's adverse possession. I'm almost to the turning point of my walk, and I really enjoyed talking with you and having your company. Come back for another one.